Why do some multi-ethnic countries remain peaceful for decades while others erupt into conflict? This is a question that has worried policymakers, researchers over a long period of time. So, the 2012 National Human Development Report, coming from that background, looks at bridging regional disparities for human development. It details the progress and gaps in human development, and also gives proposals on how to bridge those gaps. So the first National Human Development Report was launched in 1998, and a lot has happened since that time. There was the 2004 tsunami, and then conflict that was there for 11 of the 14 years since 1998. Despite that, we see that the Sri Lankan economy has grown at around 6%, just above that, and also the per capita income has more than doubled, and the number of people in poverty has more than halved. What has happened to human development? Human development goes beyond just looking at economic development. It looks at different dimensions of human development, like health, education and income. And what we see is that in Sri Lanka, human development measured by the Human Development Index has increased by about 28% from 1980 to 2011. And that level of human development is better than all the countries in the SAARC region. But it is not as good as some of the East Asian countries, like Singapore and Malaysia, for example. Within the country, the human development is least in the northern province, but still it is better than most of the SAARC countries except Maldives. The Human Development Index allows you to not only look at the overall human development, but look at differences within different sub-indices. What you find is that in Sri Lanka, in terms of the Human Development Sub-Index, health performs the best. But in terms of contribution to multidimensional poverty, health performs worst. The reasons could be that although the mortality levels are low in the country, malnutrition is fairly high, and it is high across most of the districts, and also morbidity is high. The Gender Inequality Index, which is a measure which looks at the loss of human development due to differences between males and females, is mixed for Sri Lanka. For example, it summarizes gender equity across health, education, and also other indicators which measures gender empowerment and labor force participation. In terms of health and education, Sri Lanka's performance is quite good, but in terms of gender empowerment, it is not as good. For example, in Sri Lanka, only about 6% of females are represented in parliament, and that level is even lower at lower levels of government. This is a concern. Also in Sri Lanka, the labor force participation of females is low. So these are areas that can improve. The country needs to look at policies to encourage labor force participation, and also to improve women's participation in governance. The report looks at regional disparities for human development. What we find is human development can improve, obviously, in the conflict-affected provinces of northern and eastern provinces, and also in the estate sector. But human development is also low in some other rural districts, like for example Monaragala and Puttala. Sri Lanka's performance in health and education is quite good in terms of the basic indicators, but the report finds that the country faces new challenges in terms of access to higher education, tertiary education, vocational education, and also new challenges in health, such as the prevalence of non-communicable diseases and new types of communicable diseases like dengue. So these things are holding back human development in the country. Sri Lanka's unemployment rate has come down over the last several decades, and it is less than 5% at present. But still about a third of employees are dependent on agriculture. This is a concern because the productivity in agriculture has remained stagnant over a long period, and the incidence of poverty is quite high in agriculture. And agriculture, the dependence on agriculture for employment is quite high outside the Western province. So in order to improve incomes, we need to improve access to more productive employment opportunities outside Western province. That can be done in two ways: either improve agricultural productivity or improve access to other types of income earning activities. The report gives different ways of improving agricultural productivity. To summarize some of them is to improve research and development in agriculture, and more importantly, disseminate these findings among the farmers so that they are able to use these new technologies, new findings, and improve agricultural productivity, and also improve access to irrigation and access to other types of infrastructure, markets, credit, so on and so forth. In conclusion, the report highlights the importance of strengthening governance, properly monitoring resource utilization, and also encouraging the involvement of different stakeholders in policy making in order to improve effectiveness of policies.